Hi everybody, we're back with the homework for lesson 30. This is on page 125. And just want to look at the homework helper. We are doing two different ways of doing addition. So we have totals below, in which we are taking the totals of the ones, the tens, and then the hundreds. And then we put those totals back together to get the whole thing. Then we also have what's called new groups below, in which we still add our ones, our tens, and our hundreds, but we are taking our ones, and when we put them together, we have 16. So we go ahead and move that 10 over to the tens place right away. This is the standard algorithm, which we usually use with the chip model. If you need to do the chip model, go right ahead. Just do it in some extra space in the margins of your book. But this is where we would take our 7 dots and our 9 dots. We would make a group of 10. We would carry over with our arrow and make a new group at the bottom. So then we would have 2 tens, 5 tens, and 1 new 10. So it's a new group. Instead of putting it separately, we are adding it right into the tens right away. So then we add our tens, 2 plus 5 plus 1, giving us 8. We get the same answer no matter how we're doing it, okay? Because we are still adding our ones, our tens, and our hundreds, no matter which way we're doing it. This way, though, we don't need to think about taking that group of 10 and moving it and putting it here. That's the only difference. To me, if you need to use the chip model, then this way is a little bit slower. If you can do this without the chip model, then it's faster. This is, like I've said in class, this is the way I do math in my head, because this is hard for me in my head. So let's get started. The first thing it's asking us to do is look at this problem, 136 plus 56, and 2 students did that work. They did it differently, right? This person, Carrie, used new groups below. Marty did totals. So what is different about how they solved the problem? What is different? Well, in totals below, Marty listed the total of each place value unit separately. So 6 plus 6 is 12. 3 tens plus 5 tens is 8 tens or 80. And then 100. And then put all those totals together to find the answer. Carrie sort of did this at the same time. She also said 6 plus 6 is 12, but she said 12 is 1 10 and 2 ones. Then she added in her tens, 3 plus 5 plus 1 more, and then her 100. So she did it all at the same time. So Carrie did all of her work at the same time, but it does require that you keep in mind moving that group of 10 ones over to the tens. To me, this is just a little bit easier, and certainly if I'm doing it in my head. Okay, so what is different about it? Marty added the units separately then added them together. Whereas Carrie did it all at the same time. She added her units but blended that right into adding the next set of units. Instead of doing one set of units at a time, the ones, the tens, the hundreds, and then putting it all back together. So it's really just a question of which one you prefer. What works better for you? That's all it is. And while we're doing these lessons where you're learning this strategy, we're telling you you have to practice those strategies. But eventually, you just need to decide which one you like. Sorry, I'm going to move on to the next page. If you haven't finished writing that down, you can pause here and catch up. So turning the page to 128, on this one, they are showing us one way and they want us to solve it another way. So let's look and see what they did. Does this look like totals below, where they added the ones and then the tens and then the hundreds and then put it all back together? Or is this new groups where they took the group of 10 ones and moved it over, took a group of 10 tens and moved it over? Yeah, this is new groups. The one we've mostly been using with the chip model. Let's go ahead and do it with totals below. Let's see if we get the same answer. We certainly should. I'm going to start it over here because sometimes it does take a long. I want to give myself as much space as I can. So I need 145. I'm going to add it to 67. So let's make sure that 60 is in the tens place. 7 is in the ones place. Now we are going to add each unit separately. So we're going to get a total for the ones, total for the tens, total for hundreds, and then put it back together. So 5 plus 7 is, let's hold 7 in our hand and we're going to count up 5. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 5 plus 7 is 12. Don't try to cram that into the ones. We don't need to. That's a 10 and that's the ones, right? All right, let's move on to our tens place. 4 plus 6. I hope you recognize that. 4 plus 6 is one of the 10 bonds. 4 plus 6 equals 10. But it's not 10, it's 10 tens, which is 10 tens is 100. Now let's move on to the hundreds place. How many hundreds do we have? 1 plus 0, so that's just going to be 100. Now that we've got each of our totals, we're going to just add them back up together. 2 plus 0 is 2. 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Did we get the same answer? We sure did. So now last time it was asking us to say how are they different. This time they're asking us to say how are they similar or the same. You don't have to worry about it, Tim. Just do your thing. So how are they the same? Well, we have the same add-ins. Both times we're adding 145 and 67. We get the same response, 212, both ways. As we're adding them, we do, even when we're using new groups, we do get these numbers. We have 12 over here. We just say that that's 1 10 and 2 ones. Then you do this part all together, 4 plus 6 plus 1. This is just cutting out these extra parts. But we have the same add-ins. Add-ins are the parts we're putting together. Same add-ins. and same sum. We're also, don't forget, we are adding ones and tens and hundreds in both of these. But here we're adding them separately and then putting them back together, and here we're doing it all at the same time. Let's go ahead and look on down to number 3. Again, show another way to solve. So let's look at how did they solve this problem. Is this new groups below, or did they do totals? They did totals. They've got the total of the ones, the total of the tens, the total of the hundreds, and then they put it back together. So this one is totals below, and we're going to do new groups. So the first thing we're going to need to do is write it vertically. 142 plus 39. Now, if you want, you can go ahead and draw yourself a little chip model over here. If you can do it without, you don't need to do that, okay? So 1, 10, 20, 30, 40, 142, and then we're going to add in 39. So we're starting with 2 and 9. Let's count up from 9. Hold 9, and we're going to count 2 more. So 9, 10, 11. So 9 and 2 is 11. That's one group of 10 and one more. So I can take this group of 9, grab one up there at the top, and there I'm making my new group of 10, just moving it over. So up here, I'm going to do it this way. 2 plus 9 is 11. That's 1 10 and 1 1. Now, my 10s look just the same as the chip model. 4 plus 3 plus 1, right? 4 plus 3 is 7, and one more is 8. Did we make a group of 10? Do we need to carry over to a new 100? We did not have 10 tens. We only have 8. So then we're just going to bring the 100 down. 1 plus 0, there's only 100. And we got 181. Is that the same? It sure is. So the idea is that you just practice these 2 different ways and you think about what is more comfortable for you. It doesn't matter which one you do. Think about which one is more comfortable, which one is faster, easier. That's what it means when we say to use the efficient way. What's the most efficient way? Fast and easy. Up to you entirely. Good job today. See you back next time.